Okay. Megan took the stand.
Yes.
Talk about that experience.
That was big. I mean, you could kind of see all heads turn when she walked into the courtroom. And I mean, just the entrance that she made downstairs wearing all purple, the color of domestic violence victims.
Oh, that's the color of domestic violence.
It's kind of a symbol for domestic violence against women.
Aha.
And so it was definitely strategic that she was wearing that. And I mean, she got on the stand and you could tell, I mean, it was such a packed courtroom. You could just tell she was nervous. Like she wasn't happy to be there. And the way the courts works, they have to take a mandatory break at noon, from noon to 1:30. So she didn't even get on the stand until 11:15. And I said to the person next to me, I said, gosh, they're going to be getting right into the whole reason we're sitting in this courtroom right when they have to take the break at noon. And sure enough, that's what happened. They were right getting up to the incident. But when she returned to the stand at 1:30, she was, and the prosecutor even said in the exam, questioned her about how she felt up on the stand earlier, and basically just made the point that she was nervous and she wasn't being as talkative as they'd like in her answers. So they were able to go back and ask her some more questions and kind of get her to open up more.
Okay, and she cried on the stand?
Yes, there was, it wasn't, the crying that we might see from other witnesses, but she was definitely emotional, like choking up talking about some of the things.
Well, when she was cross-examined, did she talk about did they ask her about how her story did somewhat change? Because originally she said that she didn't get shot, that she had she said that she had stepped on some glass or something. Yeah. And then there was also the interview she did where she said that her and Tory never had a sexual relationship and so forth. So there is some lies in there that I'm sure the defense pounced on.
Alex Bott, though, and Kathy Todd, the prosecutors, in the very beginning, they'd kind of prefaced all this. And Alex had talked about the reasons that Megan had for first saying that she had stepped on glass and just kind of the sexual shaming she felt, all the questions about her sex life, that kind of thing. And it kind of set up this tone in the courtroom where McDesian had he just came across as this big kind of football player guy, and it's a jury full of mostly women. And the whole idea that he would be able to get up there and really hound Megan about the fact that, well, why didn't you admit that you had sex with Tory sooner? I mean, it's the tone in that courtroom, if he had just hit it like that, would have been, what is this guy even doing? I mean, there was just kind of a tone there that didn't quite fit with it.
Okay. And there was the whole, kind of discrepancy. Because, when you look online, a lot of people are like, well, she never got shot. There was no bullet fragments found. She lied about the whole thing. It's really glass, and glass has little pieces of metal in it and so forth. But the actual doctor who took the bullet fragments out of her foot testified.
Yes, it was the assistant surgeon, because I'm assuming the main surgeon was busy being a surgeon and didn't have time to sit in the LA Superior Court hallway all day. But they did get the assistant surgeon up on the stand, which my understanding is that sometimes they would just be able to have hospital lay staff or somebody introduce the hospital documents and the medical records. But you could tell that there was an emphasis on getting an actual surgeon in there because of all the online talk about how she'd never been shot. So he was pretty simple basic testimony just about the surgery that she underwent. And I remember his exact testimony was that she had to go under surgery. There were bullet fragments in both feet. One foot was definitely operated on. The other one that they removed bullet fragments on, they were able to take it out through an operation, technically wasn't considered surgery. So we've seen reports about surgery on both feet, but if you go back to the surgeon's actual testimony, it was definitely surgery on one foot, and they were removed bullet fragments from the other, but they didn't have to go all the way in or something. But there's still fragments that remain in the foot.
I mean, did they keep those bullet fragments and compare it to the fragments of, from the actual gun bullets, or because I remember hearing something online how they lost the fragments or something of that sort.
Yeah, I've heard so much and to this day people just get so upset about that they lost the bullet fragments, and I'm like, so are they trying to say that she wasn't shot? because George did not argue that in trial at all. And I remember telling a friend about the case. I was covering this, rapper's case, and it had all this attention online, and his lawyer seemed a little, rough around the edges or something. And I was telling her that there was all this talk online that she wasn't even shot. And I said, so the defense, and I said, how I said her lawyer's a little rough around the edges? I said, well, he's not just a complete moron. He's not just going to get up before a jury and say that she wasn't shot when there's like a surgeon testifying, there's x-rays of her feet. I mean, the whole idea that she wasn't shot, I'm like, this is just like living in the internet insanity. I'm like, how? And it's interesting to trace back the origins of the misinformation on the case, because I think some people really do genuinely believe it, but I know there's some malicious bad actors like trolls or something who are putting information out there that they know is not true. They're just kind of trying to rile up the base.